They've been trying to kill the character of Jim off in the 28 Days Later franchise for a while now. I found 3 different iterations in where they almost killed off the Jim character, and we're going to name them off real quick one by one. The first one is in the alternate take on the DVD, right? So if you've ever seen the movie 28 Days Later, there's an alternate ending. It's kind of like the original. Jim invades the compound, he saves Hannah and Cillian, and in both versions he gets shot.
You killed all my boys.
They break through the gate, and there's like a cut to black. Now, in the original one, they make their way to a cottage, they make a giant SOS sign that says hello, a plane flies overhead, and it's implied that they're going to be rescued. It cuts to black. Now, in the alternate version on the DVD, it's the same setup, only Jim doesn't make it. He gets shot, and as expected, he doesn't just heal instantly from his injuries. He's taken to a compound where Cillian and Hannah try to revive him in one of the worst CPR scenes I have ever seen on film. I mean, I like Naomi Harris, don't get me wrong. She's a foxy lady. She is fantastic in 28 Days Later. She is fantastic in those Bond movies, and she does a good job in this movie, but if you watch this deleted scene, she's barely trying. It's no wonder he died, but he does die. He flatlines. Her and the girl go to the cottage, just like the original ending. They wave down the plane, and it's kind of the same ending, only without Jim. He dies. Now, in the second iteration, in where they try to kill Jim, a scene that was written by Alex Garland, and there's a commentary track, you can find this on YouTube, and basically they show a shot-by-shot of what was already sketched out, and they never filmed it, but basically the idea was that they get to the compound, and they find out there's a cure. They find this guy, and he's in this little room, he's guarded off, and he tells Jim and Hannah and Cillian, listen, there's a cure, but there's a trade-off. You have to do a blood transfusion and give every drop of your blood in order to save somebody else. So for example, in this scenario, they want to save Frank, played by Brendan Gleeson, I believe it is, from In Bruges. Great actor, great Irish actor, go check him out. They have to save him because he is the father of the little girl that they're traveling with. I think her name is Hannah. And zombies start breaking the doors in, and they say, you know what, there's no time. Jim's character, Jim, he's O negative. He decides, okay, I'm going to do this. There's no time. Let's do it. He does the blood transfusion. Brendan Gleeson is saved. And at the end of the movie, we find that Jim is now a zombie, or I'm sorry, an undead infected, as they like to be called in this franchise. And Kevin, aka Brendan Gleeson, is able to escape with Cillian and Hannah, the daughter. Now, in the commentary, they talk about how this is a terrible idea because essentially, you can't have this idea of like, okay, so this character gets a drop of infected blood in his eyeball, and because of that, the trade-off is that we do a complete transfusion of the entire, but it doesn't make any sense, and they scrapped it immediately. But that's the second time they tried to kill Jim. Alright, so again, you feel like this guy's on borrowed time. The third time is, I think in 2009, they made a comic book that followed up with the first 2 movies, 28 Days and 28 Weeks. And in that comic book, it primarily follows the character of Cillian, who again, played by Naomi Harris, and she's kind of like a heroine, as you were. She's going on an adventure. In that version, it picks up after the events of the first movie. Everybody gets saved by that plane that went overhead. However, when Jim confesses that he killed all the soldiers, they kill him with a firing squad. They're like, oh, so you're a traitor? Okay, you come with us. Hannah, Cillian, you go that way. And Hannah, I think, goes to like an orphanage, wherever they have an orphanage in the apocalypse. Cillian goes on a whole completely different adventure, and Jim is just killed with a firing squad. So that's 3 different times they tried to kill Jim in this universe. And so you can understand why people would think, well, maybe that is from the trailer, because they've been trying to kill this motherfucker for a while. No. But not from a lack of trying. Also, keep in mind there have been some set photos that leaked a couple months ago showing Cillian Murphy on set. And if you look, it's the same cottage that he was at the end of the first movie. He's not in the second movie. And it's basically implied that for the better part of 30 years, this character has been sitting in this cottage just surviving. Now, we know that Naomi Harris wanted to be in the sequels, these movies that are coming out now, but there's no confirmation that she's actually in them, implying that she's probably not. We would have heard by now. And so, unfortunately, I have a really bad feeling that this franchise is going to do the same thing that every other IP, every legacy reboot sequel has done. I really hope not, but I have a bad feeling they're gonna make Cillian Murphy's character, Jim, this sad sack of shit, alcoholic, deadbeat, kind of loser who basically just gave up, and now we need the younger characters like Aaron Taylor Johnson and Jodie Comer and anybody else. We need them to pick up the reins because that Gen X character is just no good anymore, and we have to get rid of him. And, you know, there's a lot of reasons why they do this. They want to make room for the new characters. Half the time, the actors that they bring back, they do it for a big payday, but they don't actually want to come back, and the way they get them back is to be like, look, you only have to do a couple of scenes, and then you can get out of here. With this scenario, I don't know what they're going to do. And the reason I say that is because Cillian Murphy is rumored to be in the next movie called The Bone Temple, and as you see in the trailer, there's a giant structure of bones. I imagine that's what it's going to be about. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. It seems like, from what I gather, it seems like Cillian Murphy's character is going to be a cameo in the very end of the movie. We know from the set photos and other leaks that Jodie Comer, more than likely, is going to make it into the very end of the first movie and probably the second movie. We don't know anything about Aaron Taylor Johnson. It seems likely that he's probably going to be killed off. But then again, we don't know that. He could very easily be doing a completely different storyline that is not even connected with Jodie Comer. Maybe they have some overlap, but we don't know that for sure. All we know is that Ralph Fiennes and Jodie Comer, they end up at the Bone Temple because we see it in the trailer, and they're probably going to meet up with Cillian, Jim, in the end of the movie. Cillian Murphy is batting 1,000. I can't recall too many bad movies he's been in. Even the bad movies he is in, they're still fun watching him. Like, there's that Justin Timberlake movie, In Time. It's still a good movie, like, with him in it. But, I don't know. I think I'm gonna wait and see. They put out a fantastic trailer. The internet is ablaze talking about this 28 years later. You know, we've been waiting, I don't even know, like 15 years for this thing? I mean, I just found out, because I completely forgot about it. 28 weeks later has a lot of famous people in it. It's got that, who's that Hawkeye guy? Jeremy Renner and Rose Byrne. Idris Elba's in there. I'm like, I'm about to go watch that movie. I don't know if it's as good, but like, I love watching movies that have actors who were not famous quite yet, and they were still trying really hard, and you go back and like, oh look, it's him. And I love the first movie, so maybe it's worth going back and checking out part 2. But until that, guys, what do you think? Do you think he's going to be this tall guy? What do you think? Comment down below. I'd love to get your thoughts. This Angus Neal guy, creepy as fuck. He looks like Lurch. I hope he plays a zombie forever, because he's pretty creepy in this shot. But do you think he's Jim? Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you think Nia DaCosta is going to change things up and make a really good movie, unlike the Marvels, unlike Candyman? I kind of like Candyman. Be sure to comment down below, ring that bell, share this video, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.
Drop on by the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe. The grub is downright gruesome, but your appetite's obey. 'Cause food's a little funny. Food's a little funny.